Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be le'ilu nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka bas Gavril Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and b'schus l'refuah shalema bekarov Mishalom ben Sarah Rachel, Miriam bas Sarah, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atara. Today, we are on page 41 in the Or HaVigdor, for those who are following along. And today, we're going to talk about the seventh and the eighth advantage that the Baal Bitachon has over the alchemist. And once again, the alchemist is the person who takes different cheap materials and he blends them together through some sort of process that I wish I knew the secret to, and he turns it into fool's gold. And he has this problem along the way where people might find out about it. And there's different reasons as to why he's having a little of a struggle, even though he's got all this money, or so to speak, thinks he has all this money. And so the seventh advantage over the alchemist is that it's very possible that this alchemist will not be able to get food despite the amount of money or the gold or silver, whatever he's fabricated, he has put away. Why? Because there may be times where there is no food to be found in his city. There might be a time where there's a famine and no money in the world is going to get him out of the jam of having enough money for food. It says in Yechezkel, they will throw their money into the streets. They're going to be disgusted with their money because it's going to be worthless. Because they're all sitting around, they're starving of hunger, they're dying of thirst, and they have all this money, and this alchemist has got storehouses full of this gold, and it can't buy him a lick. It can't buy him an ounce of food. It can't buy him an ounce of water. And so they become disgusted with this thing. He says over there, Gam kaspam gam v'zav lo yuchal atzilam, even their silver, even their gold will not be able to save them. So the mere fact, the Avigdor Miller says, that the alchemist has access to supplies of gold and silver, it doesn't assure this alchemist that he's actually going to be able to survive a famine or survive something like this in his life. But, v'aboteich b'Hashem, the conscious, the person who trusts in Hashem, he has full bitachon in Hashem, his food will not be withheld from him at any time, or at any place, until the end of his life. Hashem promised he's going to provide sustenance to you until the day you die. There is a concept that people do die from starvation, but that's because Hashem decreed that this person is supposed to die at this time. But if you're a Baal Bitachon, you know you will be fed for your entire life, and you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about the billions of dollars in fool's gold that you have put away in your basement, because that's not going to buy you any food in a famine. And you know that Hashem is going to take care of you no matter what. And the Avigdor Miller says that this means that when Hashem wishes, he can provide food despite a lack of opportunity to get food. And of course, like I said earlier, if Hashem decrees a famine, that means that it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to provide food. But when a person has bitachon, it means that he's assured that he's going to be taken care of. As it says, B'rav patcha mimaves. It says actually the whole passage says B'rav patcha mimaves or b'milchama midei charev. In a famine, Hashem delivered you from death, and in war, he delivered you from the sword. And it says, Hashem is my shepherd, and I will not lack. Lo yaveshu be'isra, they won't be shamed in a time of evil. Uvemeira avan yisba'u, and in a time of famine, they will be satiated. And Hashem, it's actually over there, the pasuk, Mizmor David Hashem roy le'echsa. Most of Tehillim is songs that David HaMelech wrote. And so we actually was, I think it's Bashal Shus, Mizmor David Hashem roy le'echsar. And we see that over there, that he says, Hashem is my shepherd, and I shall not lack. He will always take care of me. And when a person puts his trust in some materialistic thing like this fool's gold or anything else, Hashem says, you know what, there's going to be a time that all you're going to have is that. And if you don't have trust in me, and you only have trust in that particular item, such as this fake gold that you made, then you're going to have to resort to that in order to sustain yourself. But he says that the concept here is that when a person has bitachon, he's always comfortable understanding and knowing that as long as he's alive, he's going to have food that he needs. That's the seventh advantage. Now, the eighth advantage that the Baal Bitachon has over the alchemist is Vashmini, Shabal HaKamir Einenu Misakev B'Shum Makam. The alchemist, he never stays in one place too long. He can't stay in one place too long. Why? Because the alchemist, we spoke about this earlier, that he's always afraid of other people, right? And so what happens is if, God forbid, I love when we throw that out in someone like this, but what happens is when someone is constantly worried about other people, especially the government, if they find out that he's making this fool's gold, they're going to come and get him. They're going to come and even imprison him for life, or they might even kill him, which would be even worse for him. I don't know which one's worse. But regardless, he's not liking it. And so what he winds up doing is he doesn't sit around too long. He's always on the run. He sticks around for a couple of months and then moves along because he doesn't want anyone to doesn't want to get to know anyone really. He doesn't want anyone to go know him, know his business. And so he has to keep it moving. He's constantly moving. But the person who has bitachon in Hashem is so comfortable. He can secure he's secure in his own land. And he can have peace of mind in his place of residence. He's not constantly worrying about, okay, I got to move, I got to pack up, I got to go. How am I going to schlep all this gold? How am I going to do all that? I got families. You're not going to make new friends. He can't make new friends, right? He's got to constantly keep moving. He's got to erase his past and go into kind of like a secret hiding of some sort into the next city, And he says, trust in Hashem and do good. We actually spoke about this last time around, that betach b'Hashem v'asei tov, trust in Hashem and do good. And if you think that first you do good and trust Hashem while you do that, it says no. First, understand you got to trust in Hashem. Then you just do what you need to do. But the concept is not that first you do what you need to do and then while you're doing it, trust in Hashem. No, first, right out the gate, just trust Hashem. Do what you need to do, but the first thing is trust in Him. It says, Shechon eretz urei emuna, dwell in your land and nourish yourself in loyalty to Hashem. V'amai, it also says in Tehillim, tzadikim yirshu eretz, tzadikim inherit the land, v'yishkenu la'ad oleo, and dwell forever in it. But Victor Miller says that these psukim, they indicate that it might have been a time where Yidden kind of sunk down the levels of Torah. They didn't have that full bitachon. And perhaps that's the reason why we are in Galus. And perhaps that's the reason why we don't all live in Eretz Yisrael, because it says that tzadikim yishur eretz, tzadikim inherit their land, that they are very comfortable in their land. They didn't have to run. They didn't have to be on the run constantly. And it could be a part of it as to why, because we didn't fully trust in Hashem all the time. And that's something that we're working on every single day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today, and I love you all.